Hey, welcome everyone to our Python session number 8 today. And I'm excited that we reached, and first of all, congratulations to all of you for getting to this level. That means I think it's off. Let me reconnect. Can you hear me without the headphone? Hello. Now, can you hear me again? I think my headphone battery died.
We can hear you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so let's start our session for today. Where is this? Okay, from the beginning. Okay, so today's our session number 8, and you don't need to go through this. You already know myself, and just reminding was our objective, and I hope that we have achieved it through this step, which will be interesting. And those of you who have attended my Scratch course, Scratch programming course, they already know that how interesting it can be and rewarding too, because it always involves some reward. If you make something and present it well, you have a chance to win prize. Okay. Going to our today's session, what we'll do is do a quick recap of our session, and we'll talk about algorithm, which is one of the most important things again in programming, and all we have covered so far in this beginner session. We have touched a lot of things at a higher level. So it's not like that we covered everything in detail. The main idea was to give you an idea, and then we can, do another advanced course where we can deep dive into all these concepts. So algorithm is one of those topics that usually covered with data structures that we saw in few of our classes. So there's a specific course that we can do in coming weeks or maybe early next year now, because it's already end of this year, is data structures and algorithm, which is very like it's not like a basic level course. It's a little higher level course where you need to know all the basics. So we can absolutely do that. But for today's session, we'll just go what it is. Then we'll discuss our project, that what you guys can do, what you have learned. That will be the most interesting part. We'll talk about what you can do, and then how you can submit, and then how we can do uh, our presentation. And based on this, you'll become eligible for the certificate for this course, and obviously, if you guys do a good job, you'll get a some reward as well. As always, we did for this whole course that we did our recap that what we have covered so far. And the reason for this, the repetition of what we have learned will, revise in our head what we did so far, what we covered in this, and also it will help to you to remember. So when you are doing your project, will remember that we have done this and that somewhere in our sessions. Okay, so going through our session number 1, is what we did. We talked about different ways to communicate to computer. And if you recall, go back to session one, which was recorded. It was all they covered that computer understands zeros and ones and how the computer programming evolved from zeros and one to higher level languages such as Python. And in Python, session number one, we also installed Python and we installed Visual Studio Code, install Python extension if you haven't done already, which I believe you already have, but just in case you haven't, please go to these sites and go ahead and continue to work. Okay, I'm trying to move this dialog from here so I can see it more clearly. Okay. In session number two, we talked about what computer program is, which is actually a set of instructions. A single instruction is called command, and when you have multiple commands to do a single task, you group them together to call it a computer program. Let me discuss a regular day example of fetching water, how we instructed someone to just get up from the sofa, move towards the fridge, turn around, grab the bottle, and again move towards the fridge, move the hand towards the water dispenser and press the button, keep it pressed until the water is filled, turn around and come back. So we discussed how we can instruct someone and call, and then later, if we just want to do the same thing, we simply ask, hey, fetch water. And fetch water is a group of instructions to getting water. Same way we write computer programs. And then we simply execute those. So all the instruction within that program just gets executed to perform a task. We discussed about variable, which is a way to keep track of tags to person, or so when you store information inside computer memory, it's stored as zeros and ones in different places. So what we do is just provide a name tag. So whenever we want to access that information, we don't have to remember the address inside memory where it's stored or the data itself, what like zeros and one codes. Always say, get me the information stored in variable or name tag, name or age, depending on what information we want to store, we use that tag for that variable. And remember, we discussed the difference between data and information. Data is simply data. When you put meaning into it, it's information. And we discussed, and I always put my age, like 42 is simply a number, but when I say my age is 42, it becomes information. So depending what type of information you're storing or you want to store, you use name tag accordingly. So it becomes easier to remember what information is stored where inside computer memory. And that also brings to the topic of when you are storing information, you need to know what type of information you're storing. Is it someone's name, which is represented with letters or text, or it's someone's age or phone number, which is represented by numbers. So we have to specify data type as well. Okay, so when you actually storing data in the computer memory, you need to know what information it holds by putting meaning into it. And when you know the information, you already know that what type of that is. It is a number, it is name, or it is a number and text together, or is it just a yes and no? So that is computer required that every information when it is stored inside memory, it knows what type of data it is. Again, it could be numbers, text or string of characters, or yes or no, or both, which is like a text and number, which is called alphabet and numerical. So in short, it's called alphanumeric. So all that you define before storing information. In Python numbers, section number 3, we discuss why we program, and we basically discuss how we can do write computer program to make tasks easier, or sometimes we have to do something repetitively again and again. We write computer program that at that time, and we can reuse sometimes the same instruction somewhere else, and we can do decision making, all that thing that you can do um, for making your life easier by telling computer to do it instead of you. So that's why you need to program it. Because computer by itself, it's a dumb machine. It doesn't know what to do unless you tell it to do what it needs to do. In Python session 4, we look into those programming content components. We write loops. We write like for loop. What is a while loop? We also wrote a simple program for writing a simple calculator. And then we also write code for using function. What is a function? And we did a little sneak peek into a game library for Python called Pygame, which in last session we used for writing our game. Okay, so if you, all these are recorded, so you just have to review. In session 5, we covered Earth operators that are used all around the programming. You have seen what type of operators already, like we have arithmetic operators that are plus, minus, multiplication, division. We saw double division, which is only picks the whole number, or abs percentage, which is only pick the remainder. So all those arithmetic operators, assignment operators that are used to assign values to a variable. And you have seen that if we want to assign value 5 to a variable, we use a single equal to. Comparison operators, you saw how to compare two variables or two values, left and right. So we have to use two equal to compare, like if they're equal or if they're not equal, if they're greater than or less than, all those. And then we also look at logical operators that could be and, or, and we have discussed that in session number 5. We also mentioned there, of course, but just to let you know that there are more operators. And then we started our a little bit sneak peek into data structures. Data structure in itself is a huge topic. And like I was mentioning, the data structure and algorithm both can be a separate, completely separate course of different sessions. So we just touched a little bit of data structures in session 5, talking about arrays. And then in session 6, we continued our data structure and discussed some of the out of the box data structures that are available in Python for use. And we discussed list, tuple, dictionary, sets. And we also wrote some code for using list and dictionary. I believe we did not do tuple and sets. Python session number 7, if you recall, we wrote our game for creating a simple snake game using Pygame library. So which is I know I just added that to make things a little interesting, and all that information is not only recorded as sessions so you can review. I also pasted the code inside the chat so you can reference, because now will be the time when you will use all the information, all the things you have learned to use in creating a game or project, basically. Okay, so for today's topic, and today's topic will be very quick, and we'll do a little exercise. Okay, so what is algorithm? And you probably have heard this word a lot. So algorithm. Anyone know what an algorithm is? Algorithm in general is a process or set of rules to be followed that you basically follow like steps to complete something. So, if you talk about like a computer programming could be the steps that you take to make some program, right? If you talk about like in each day of like regular day life, it's just step-by-step instruction in simple. I mean, you don't need to go into like details, but what's the logic of doing something or step-by-step process? For example, if you're making coffee in the morning or tying your shoes, what are the steps? Okay, so it doesn't necessarily tell you like exact code. So it will tell you, for example, algorithm for making coffee. Fill up the coffee jar, pour water inside the coffee machine, pick up the coffee filter, insert the filter in the coffee machine, put the coffee on top of the filter, close the coffee chamber, and press the button. See, simple. These are steps that you, or you can make use algorithm for making tea, for example. There, if you want to make tea, like take a bowl, fill up with water, or put in oil. Sorry, not oil. Boil the water. Put the tea, either tea bags or depending on what type of tea you're making, or open tea and let it boil, and then put in the cup. All these are steps that you're following to make a tea. So depending on what type of algorithm you're using, you'll have a final uh, result that you want to achieve. So algorithm did not, if you notice, it did not specify exact details. It just specify higher level steps that you're gonna take to do something. Like for example, when I was discussing making tea, it did not tell you which spoon to use and how much tea you want to put. Did not specify how much water you need to put. It just say pick up, pot, fill in with water. It's just telling you high level steps in sequence, in the right sequence. Like for example, for a tea, if you change the sequence, will you be able to make tea? Like if you put the pot onto stove and turn on the stove or fire, depending on if you have gas uh stove, and you fill up the water later when pot becomes hot, will you have the same tea? Or if you miss out if you put the tea first and then put it to fire or like onto stove, and then when it start burning and then put water to see all these steps sequence or matter. So algorithms are the simple step to complete a task in the right sequence. Does not tell you the detail, but it does tell you what's the logic of making something. Making sense? So this diagram here is showing you, and we haven't covered these different boxes also mean something, but we haven't covered this, so don't worry about it for now. Just understand that steps goes through this, like start from here, do this, and then this box usually say, check the condition. If this happens, then do this, go this. If this, if yes, go there. If no, go back here. For this sort of steps, basically you specify in your algorithm. So basically you specify steps in the right sequence, and once you have that algorithm, you can translate that algorithm into an actual code, which will become your uh, program. Okay, so let's do a little exercise here. Okay, so we have a game, for example. we want to make a game, which is called Hangman. You probably have heard about this game. Uh, you know about the Hangman game? So what is a Hangman game? So first off, we need to know the objective of the game. Say Hangman is a word guessing game. It can be played between two players. One player think of a random word and specify how many letters that word has to player one or other player, you can say. Player needs to guess the word in number of in certain number of turns. Each wrong answer will draw part of hang, hanging station with a person. If player guesses is the complete word before the hanging station is complete, player wins. If the hanging station along with the person gets complete before, then the player loses. Okay, so this is the high level objective of this game. So for give you like if someone says the word weather, you don't know player one guess the word weather. Now player and how many words? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Player two will need to guess the 7th letter. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For each wrong answer, part of the hanging station will be drawn. For example, first mistake, you have this drawing. I'm just giving you an example. Okay, so second mistake, Third mistake, and just give you an idea, and then we'll continue. Okay, where did I press? Insert mistake. And so on. See, that's how you are keep on making the, if you're making mistake, this will keep on building like this. And eventually, if you this will become like a mistake like this. Eventually, and the person will, this drawing will be complete. Oh. This is not now this look like me. And once this whole man is completed and you still do mistake, that means the game is over because you did not guess the right word. See? So that's how this game keep on give you enough chances that this whole picture gets completed. Before this, if you get the word, let's say here, you'll win. If you get here, you win. But if this happens, means you lost, the man is hanged. So this game is called Hangman, just in case you don't know. Okay, so now what we have to do? We have to do is write an algorithm for this game. Okay, so let's do a new tab. So if we look at the objective, so we know that there are two players, and in this case, we can use the other player's computer. So computer need to guess a word. It could be any word. We can provide, for now, we can give computer a certain number of words to choose from, and then computer will choose randomly and then store in some variable. And see, in my head, I'm just talking what I need to do. And then the player one will get to guess the word a number of times. That means there's some sort of loop going on. So we need to create a loop, and then we need to check every time I type a word. I have to check if that word exists in one of, if that letter, sorry, if that letter exists in what in this word that was guessed by computer. If yes, then replace that letter on that position. Let's say if you write the guess, let's say if you say E, so you'd say, okay, E exists at two places, so it will replace E at two places. This is for correct. If you say W, it will replace this with W, okay? At this position, and keep on until you complete the full word. And if you do the wrong answer, you know what will happen. Okay, so right algorithm for Hangman, this is what we need to do. For Hangman for Python. And we are using Python because this is what we are learning here. Okay, so step number one. If you notice, why we talked about that we need to do something random, and we discuss in Python to generate random numbers or random something, we need to import random library or module. In first step is or just, just consider this as step one. Import the random module. This allows, and I'm typing for your reference. In algorithm, you don't specify this, but I can type as a comment. This allows us to randomly select a word from a list of words. Notice randomly select a word from a list. Remember list? We use list in one of our sessions. Step two is create a list of words. And this is where, you need to create a list of words. Somehow I want to separate this from our steps so you know what exactly I am talking about and what exactly it is. So these are the steps, and this is what I am putting in here just for further explaining. So if you talk about algorithm, which will only have these steps. Okay. Same way here, I will use the list contains the words that the player will guess. Oh, I did some spelling mistake here. List, it is list contains. Okay, the first step is import random module. Second step is create a list of words. Okay, what step number 3 would be? Step number 3 is select a random word from the list. Okay, using the random choice function, pick one word from the list. That is this list that we created. For now, we'll be creating a list ourselves, and then computer will choose one of the words out of that. So in a way, you will rig the game because you know how many words you have provided. So you can play. If you play yourself, you'll know what are the words. But if you share the game with your friends, they will not know what list you have used. Okay. Step number 4, initialize variables. So how many variables we will need? We need a variable for for a first variable to store the word that the user will guess. So create a list of under first when we print the word, it's come with these underscore. So that's what we are doing. Create a list of underscores and we call it, let's say, guess underscore word, name of the variable. This is the name of the variable representing the letters of the chosen word that the player has not yet guessed. So the guess word is a variable that will basically represent this. If you remember, initially when we have not guessed it, it all appeared like this. So this is step number 4, let's say step 4A. Or B, create a set. Remember set? We studied in our session of action data type. So set guest letter. This is another variable, which is actually a set variable to keep track of the letters. Keep track of the letters that the player has already guessed. Okay. So one variable is guess word, the or it's a guessed word, sorry. So it's make more sense. The other is guessed letters, where when you say, okay, is there W, so you say W. You replace the underscore with the W at that specific position. And now you will remember all those data types, collection data type that we talked about, the list, tuple, sets, dictionary. So it will be helpful if you review that. Okay. And we are only writing the steps here. We have not done any coding. Okay. What we have to choose. And now we have to do set the number of attempts the player has to guess the word to 6. And why it is 6? Because you can see how many mistakes you can make. First mistake will do this, second mistake will do this, third mistake will maybe make only the body, the fourth mistake will make the hand, fifth mistake will do the legs, and the sixth mistake will just completely complete the picture and the man will be hanged. So that's why it's changed to 6. Okay. So we have our 4 ABC where we initialize variables. Now step number 5 is print a welcome message. Like this is display a greeting message to the player. When you start your game, you say, welcome to my game, or this is Hangman. You will use the print command. Step number 6 is start the game loop. Remember, we talked about that this game is running in certain loop that you have to guess, or at least we discussed that we have 6 attempts, so at least it will need to run until this whole picture is completed. Or so if you notice here, even though I mentioned that their number of guess word is 6, but we will not be we cannot use for loop because we don't know that the guess word happens in exactly 6 time, or you put one time correct and the other time wrong, then 2 time correct, the other time wrong. So we will be using a conditional loop, which is a while loop. So I'm just giving you a little heads up that what loop we can use. Okay, so in this start the game loop, and what's should happen in this loop? Continue. Type this way. Continue looping as long as the player has attempts. See, it's basically same thing that I taught, and there's still underscores in the guess word. Or another word, word hasn't Completely yes. Completely yes. Okay, so continue the loop as long as the player has attempts, which is 6 or underscore in the guess word. Now we will be using our step number 7. Let me save this before I lose it. Okay, so it's always good to save. Now step number 7 is print the current state of the guessed word. Like print how many letters already been guessed. Like in this case, for example, if you have not guessed any, so all will appear like this, or if you have guessed few letters, like so it will appear like this. Okay. Show the player the current state of the word with guessed letters, letters represented by underscore. It's revealed. Okay. REV, yeah, okay. So saying the same thing, like if some letters are guessed already successfully, so you'll show that at that position, the others will keep on appearing as underscore. Okay. Step number 8. Get, oh, 8 is this. Get the player's guess. Like, you know, the input number that we use the input from user, remember? So this is what it is. Take the input from the user. So it is saying prompt. The player prompt means like ask the user to enter some letter, right? So you type some message or enter first character or something. Prompt the player to guess a letter. Okay. Now we'll be using step number 9. And you see, I'm just giving you the steps. We haven't written a single line of code yet. So what we are doing, we are writing an algorithm. Algorithm is telling you the steps and the logic that what you are doing in specific sequence, okay? Check if the letter has been guessed before. Like for example, like if you type A again, so you will not get any further point. You already have guessed that. Otherwise, you know, what would be the benefit if you keep on pressing A again and again and again? So you'll win. So you need to make sure that it's not already guessed. Okay. And how we can do that? We can do like a 9A. If the player has already guessed the letter, inform them and continue to the next iteration of the loop. So that means like if you press like one time you guess A and you type A again. So you say you will type something like A has already been guessed, and then you continue the loop. The next iteration means to keep on continuing the loop. Okay. B, if the letter is in the word, update the guess word list to replace the corresponding underscore with the, and it could be underscores or underscore means in here, for example, if you guess the word E, it will be replaced at two positions, E here and E here. Okay. But if you guess A, it will only be replaced here. So this is what we are telling here. Underscores. Okay. If the letter is in the word, update the guess word list to replace the corresponding answer with the guess. The guess letter to the set of guess letter. And which is the set letter guess we created, remember, in our steps of creating variables or initializing variable. If the letter is not in the word, is not in the word, like if you type something which is not, in case of weather, if you type, let's say, uh, a word that says Z, you say word Z, which is not in here. So that's the case we're talking about. Not in the word. Decrement. Decrement means reduce the number of attempts by one. Should remember the assignment operators. So this is the hint. Assignment operator minus equal to add the guessed letter to the set of guessed letters and inform the player the incorrect guess and the remaining number of attempts. Step and what? Draw the image of the hanging station with the man for the respective step. Like, for example, if you have the first mistake, it will only build this. Oh, the second mistake, it will build this. Third mistake, it will have body, and the fourth, and so on till this. That's what we are talking about. Okay. Step number 10 is and the game. A, if the player has correctly guessed all the letters in the word, that is no more underscores in the guessed underscore word. Congratulate them, or like friend friend winning message. B, if the player runs out of the attempts before guessing the word, reveal the correct word and end the game by printing losing message with complete hanging station picture. Okay, so this is our game, and we have completed our very simple algorithm for creating hangman. And I know we already have crossed our time for an hour, but this is basically an algorithm that we will copy here. For example, was our lab, and let me copy paste it here. I will copy paste in our chat group. Okay, so I copy pasted all this in our chat group. So what we will achieve with this, that once you have this algorithm written, what we will need to do is convert or use this as our base point to write code for Python and do all this code in Python to create this game. So now we know we have to import this module. We know that we will need to create some variable or the list variable that contains all the words that we need to be guessed. We need to create some random, we'll select the random word out of that list, and then we need to initialize these variables. Then we have to print welcome message to user and start the loop where player will be asked to enter or guess the letters, and if the letter exists in the word that was selected, it will be replaced by that letter. If not, then it will draw the picture, just like we mentioned here. Okay. We haven't written code yet. So that's what the algorithm is, especially when you are developing something. So this is what you come up first, which is called algorithm, and in short, algo. A lot of people talk about, hey, what's the algo behind this? Behind hangman. So you see, you can the good point about algo or algorithm is it helps you think logically. You don't need to worry about like how to do it, like in programming, like in what code you need to type. And then you come up with generic logic, like general logic. It only involves programming concepts. It does not involve any programming language per se. Although this particular algorithm has specific steps for creating like random module or something, which could be different. But for the most part, the best part of this you can use this algorithm and write the code in any programming language. You don't have to use that. It's not specific for Python. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty of algorithm, that you write when you become a senior programmer, your role becomes like an architect who design things. At that time, architect knows the basics of all the computer programming. So what they do, because computer programming, different languages keep on coming every year. Maybe there's new programming. Like when I was learning programming, Python was not that popular, so I wasn't aware that there is a language exists called Python. Okay, when I become to this position where I can design things, Python exists, right? A lot of people who know how to code in Python. So what will I do? I will start typing my logic in generic English or maybe Urdu or Spanish, where I am using computer conceptually, like computer programming in English conceptually, but I'm not typing the actual code. Then I will give it to a Java developer, a Python developer, a C# developer, the same algorithm, and they will develop that game in that particular language. So that's how, this algorithm helps writing the logic. The programmer may not, a lot of time when they're junior programmer, they know how to do something, but they know what to do. Okay? Understand this? Like they know how to create a list. They know how to run a loop. They know how to create a variable, but they don't know enough knowledge that how to structure all this to create a game or a specific game. So an architect or a senior programmer will provide this algorithm to any developer. If he knows Java, he will develop that in Java. If he knows Python, he will develop in Python. So that's what our topic for today was. And this is very important that you learn this, because that's how you actually come up with um, any of your program. And you can design any game or any project like this in generic term, and then you can translate that or implement that in any programming languages that you want or you like or in other words. Okay, so as I mentioned, today was our, from training perspective, today was last class for this whole course. We will enter to our very interesting in this way that this will determine how much you have learned, and this will also help you gather all the information that you have learned and put that into use. So I would like you all to work on a project, and maybe you require 1 week or 2 weeks. You can tell me now if 1 week is enough, like should we see next Sunday or the following Sunday, and we'll have a session where we can see everyone project, where you need to present what you created. You need to show me what algorithm you use and like how you follow the step, and then you show you the code, and then you need to run the program. Basically, you write something, you explain and present, and that will make you eligible for uh, the certification for attending this course from Devincikode LLC, which is a US-based or firm that will help you in, as an experience. At the same time, whoever will demonstrate a very good presentation, a game or working program, they will get like a reward, uh, which we will, announce later. But be sure that it will be good. Just to give you a hint, last time we had like a a gift card for a certain number of amount, which, okay, so we can do that. But for now, just be sure that there will be a prize, okay? If you complete and present, you will get certification of participation for this course anyway. But if you complete the project, you'll get certification of completion of this course. So if you don't do the project, you'll get the participation certificate. If you complete the project and demonstrate, you'll get the completion certificate. And if you do the project good, you'll also get a gift that could worth maximum of a $25 value that we did last time. Okay, so what project you can work on? You can create a game that could be a text-based or graphic-based using Pygame, and you can write. And I just give you example here. You can write a scientific calculator. We already created a calculator in one of our sessions. Use that as an example, but make it a scientific calculator. We only use add, subtract, deletion, not deletion, division and multiplication. Use more functions into it. Maybe create hangman game that we just wrote an algorithm. Convert that algorithm into Python code and actually make the game. Depending on which project you choose, just work on it. And during this time, if you need any help, specific question, please ask. And I'll be glad to help. But you need to tell me how much time you think is enough. Is 2 weeks time enough or 1 week time enough? Can you type the text? So I typed the question. Can you respond and let me know? Any questions? So if you don't have any further question, we can, mark this as complete. And I would really like to thank you all for attending this whole course. I'm really excited for the whole course, how you guys managed to come on class. So it's a huge shout out to all of you. And I am really, really looking forward for interesting project submission. And just to share again, last time from scratch course, we received very good projects from most of you. And then initially we decided to just give the gift to the first prize winner, but so many good projects were submitted that we ended up giving like first, second, third, and everyone got like a gift card. The maximum was $25, the second was $15, and the third was $10 gift card along with the certificate. So that's the motivation. Please work on project, write some algorithm, pick up. It doesn't necessarily has to be like a huge game. It could be a simple game, simple application, but it needs to follow all the things that we have covered. That is, it will have a variable, condition, loop, functions, and you have to write the algorithm, and then you have to present me on one of the sessions, and we will go from there, and we'll decide who won. And like I said, all of you will get the participation certificate. Whoever will submit a project will get the completion certificate, and whoever demonstrate their project the best will get a gift card as well. Okay, with that, our session for today is complete. And let me know if you have any question. I'm here. So what date we should choose for project submission then? I believe 2 weeks should be good. Okay. Okay, that's fine. 2 weeks. So we should see you guys on 24th November then. So November 24th is the final project presentation. On this day, same class timing, we'll go over your project. We will see how well you did. And like I said, if you submit project, you will get a completion certificate. Otherwise, if you don't submit a project, you will only get uh, the participation certificate. And if your project is good, doing using all the things we have learned in session 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and if you demonstrated well, you've written a well documented algorithm, you will win the project. It is to encourage you guys, and I'm really looking forward for a good submission. And at some future, we can dive more into some advanced classes for Python. And during this time, please feel free to reach out for any question you have for anything we have covered so far, okay? So all the best. Looking forward to seeing your project again. Until then, please take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, and I am seeing how to stop the recording. Okay, are there any questions? I'm about to end the recording and then okay, take care, and then we'll regroup in 2 weeks from now. But like I said, the communication channel is open. Feel free to message, and we'll I really like to go over that, and I will keep on giving you some hints too. If you want any more ideas on making some application, let me know. Right?